Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for attending Anthony and Daniela's wedding. I thank the bride and groom's families for making this night possible. I would also like to thank my twin brother, the groom, Anthony Moneta, for asking me to be his best man. It is a great honor to fulfill this role, and I'll never forget when Anthony came up to my room to ask me to be his best man. It was the night before a big exam, and I had all of my books around me. He walked right into my room and asked me. Through tears, I answered, "Yes, Aunt, of course, I'll be your best man." The tears flowed, of course, due to the test I had the next morning. But all joking aside, I thank you for entrusting me with this great honor and allowing me to have the spotlight once again. And we all know how much I love the spotlight. It is tradition for a best man to use a portion of his speech to discuss how and when they met the groom. Well, being that Anthony and I are twins, it should go without saying, and many of you may be ahead of me, that Anthony and I met when we shared a womb back in 1990, 1991. Overall, we got along pretty well as womb mates. We learned to share everything early on. But I have heard stories that Anthony began kicking me and hogging up most of our living space, and so, after 9 months together, Anthony was ready for the big world. And so, one day on May 25th, 1991, Anthony chose to move out. He left the womb and entered that real world, and I missed him a lot. And so, 2 minutes later, I decided I couldn't stay in there alone anymore, and I chose to follow him right out. Since then, we have done almost everything together. We went to the same elementary and high school, even the same college. And 25 years later, Anthony is leaving me again. But this time for his new apartment with Daniela as newlyweds. And so, following history and tradition, I have decided to move in with Anthony and Daniela. 2 minutes after they move in. Surprise! Surprise, Daniela and Anthony. Now, although we are twins, I still consider Anthony to be my big brother, even if only by 2 minutes. However, most people consider him to be my little brother, in terms of waist size. This was, of course, confirmed by a professional at our tuxedo fittings last week. Nothing like waiting for the last minute on those fittings, right, Anthony? Being my big brother, I have always looked up to Anthony. He has always strived to be the best that he can be. Whether it was consistently making the All-Star Little League team, or getting his master's in 5 years in finance at Adelphi University, he is always achieving greatness. And not many people know this about Anthony, due to his humble nature. But he is in the top 20% of individuals who took and passed all 4 parts of the CPA exam on the first try. And yet, through all of these amazing achievements, he stays modest. He never brags nor boasts about any of these accomplishments. And so I've chosen to do that for you tonight, eh? After passing these difficult exams on his first attempts, he became a certified public accountant, and now he works at the #1 accounting firm in the world, and is thriving there. In fact, he received word this week that he's been early promoted to senior associate, which essentially never happens in this field of practice. However, with all of these accomplishments considered, I believe that Anthony's greatest achievement was marrying Daniela today. Aunt, you are one very lucky man. You've married someone who is smart, beautiful, kind-hearted, loving, caring, and perhaps most importantly, folks, she is 100% Italian. But on a personal note, Daniela has been a wonderful friend to me ever since we met, and I'm so happy to have gained such an amazing sister-in-law today. I'll never forget the first time that I saw Anthony and Daniela together. It was a rainy night, very romantic. Daniela pulled up in her father's white Toyota Highlander across the street from my house. Anthony was so nervous. to get his hair wet in the rain. But he ran through that rain anyway to meet with Daniela. My friend Rich and I watched the two of them through the window with glasses of wine in hand, like two college girls watching an episode of The Bachelor. As the two of them sat and talked in the car for what seemed like hours. After Anthony came back in the house, he was smiling from ear to ear, and if memory serves me correct, he came in and boldly stated, "She's the one," to the both of us. I'd never seen or heard Anthony talk like that in my entire life. And to quote Beyonce, and my sister Amanda is very happy about this right now, Anthony was drunk in love from the moment that he saw Daniela, and he made the best choice of his life when he decided to put a ring on it. It may sound cliche, but I knew in that moment that he would marry Daniela, and I'm so glad that he did. And before we begin our toast to Anthony and Daniela, I would first like to ask everyone to raise their glass in memory of our Nono Guido Moneta. He is always with us in our hearts, and would be so proud of you both. Thank you all. And finally, on behalf of the bride and groom, I'd like to thank all of you for sharing in their day. I invite you all now to stand and raise your glasses in a toast to Anthony and Daniela. May they have a long and happy marriage. To Anthony and Daniela. Thank you all.
Vicky!
Come on! Nikki, go get your picture with the bride and groom now, come on. Let's party, everybody.